After a long, draining day, she collapsed into the soft armchair near the window, a heavy sigh escaping her lips. The silence of her elegant home only made the weight of her responsibilities feel heavier. Endless meetings, constant deadlines, and the unrelenting pull of family obligations left little room for her own well-being. As she closed her eyes for just a moment, a gentle knock at the door brought her back. "Ma'am, are you all right? You look like you're carrying the weight of the world," said her servant. A young man who had worked quietly in her home for over a year. His voice was always respectful, but there was a softness in his tone when he spoke to her, a kindness she hadn't paid much attention to before. Today, though, it felt different. "I'm just tired," she murmured, trying to shake off the weariness. "But my back's been killing me." There was a pause before he offered, "If you'd like, I know a few techniques that might help." She hesitated, surprised by the offer, but something in his demeanor, gentle, attentive, and sincere, made her nod. She'd always seen him as part of the background, someone who quietly kept her world running. But in that moment, she saw him in a new light. As he began to work on her shoulders, she relaxed under his touch. His hands were firm but caring, each motion thoughtful, as if he understood just how much she was holding in. What started as a simple massage slowly became something more, an unexpected comfort she hadn't realized she needed. The room was still, their only connection the rhythm of his hands and the shared silence. At first, she dismissed the warmth building inside her as nothing more than appreciation. But soon, she could no longer ignore the stirring of something deeper. "Is this okay?" he asked quietly. "Yes," she replied, almost breathlessly. "It feels nice." Their eyes met briefly in the mirror, and in that fleeting glance, something unspoken passed between them, an energy neither could name. She tried to bury it, remind herself of the line between them, employer and servant. And yet, that line was beginning to blur. His touch didn't feel professional anymore. It felt personal. When he finally pulled away, she let out a soft sigh caught somewhere between gratitude and disappointment. "Thank you," she said, turning slightly to look at him. "I needed that." He nodded. "I'm glad I could help." And then he left, leaving her with a strange warmth she couldn't explain. Over the next few days, she found herself thinking of him more than she should. The memory of his hands, the look in his eyes, it all lingered. Every time he entered a room, something fluttered in her chest, subtle but undeniable. One evening, after another long day, the tension returned to her back. She didn't hesitate this time. When he knocked, she looked up and said softly, "Actually, I could use your help again." He stepped in, the usual calm in his posture, though she noticed the brief flicker of something else in his eyes, uncertainty. "Perhaps, would you like me to help with your back again?" he asked, quieter than usual. Double quotes, "Yes, please," she answered, her voice barely above a whisper. His hands found her shoulders once more, and as he worked, the tension between them grew, not just in her muscles, but in the air itself. His touch held more than just skill, it held care, intent. She couldn't deny that anymore. The massages continued over the following weeks, and with each one, something built between them, something neither of them named. His smallest gestures now seemed weighted with meaning. She found herself noticing everything, how he moved, how he looked at her, how close he stood. One night, overwhelmed and aching, she called for him again. He came without hesitation, though the atmosphere between them was unmistakably changed. As he stepped behind her, she felt it, the same warmth, the same safety, but now with an edge of vulnerability. "Let me help you get comfortable," he said gently. This time, his hands moved with a tenderness that felt almost too intimate. Each movement was deliberate, lingering, as if he didn't want to let go either. The heat of his touch seeped into her bones, stirring something she couldn't push away anymore. "How does that feel?" he asked softly. She exhaled. "Good," she admitted. Her voice betrayed her the emotion, the need she'd kept hidden. It wasn't just her body that responded, it was her heart, too. He paused briefly, and in that moment, everything seemed suspended. The air thickened, heavy with all the things they couldn't say. "I'm glad," he said, voice quiet but meaningful. From then on, every touch carried more weight. Every interaction, every glance was charged with something that felt like the beginning of something neither of them dared fully explore. She told herself it was just comfort, just stress relief. But deep down, she knew that wasn't true. She wasn't just touched, she was seen. They never spoke openly about what was shifting between them, but they both felt it. Their silences were no longer awkward. They were full of understanding. And when she finally thanked him, really thanked him not just for the massages, but for his care, he didn't need to say anything back. His gentle touch said it all. Whatever this was, it was delicate, real, and quietly powerful.